It's time for Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather, brought to you by Command Family Medicine, Heating and Air Paramedics, and Taylor Grubaugh Chevrolet. Here's your host, meteorologist Abby Dyer.
Good morning, everybody. We made it to Friday in the Ozarks. So happy Friday. It's July 18th, and we are in for yet another day with hot and humid temperatures. I think fewer thunderstorms on the radar today than what we experienced yesterday, but still a possibility for some isolated storm chances. And much like yesterday, some of them could contain some really heavy downpours as well as some thunder and lightning. The other thing we've got on deck as we head into the weekend is temperatures are going to be on the rise. We've got numbers warming up into the 90s again this afternoon. It will be a hot weekend in the Ozarks. It will be a humid weekend for sure. And it looks like the heat and humidity is going to stick around for us for a while as well. A few storms possible again today. So even though temperatures are starting out in the 70s, they'll warm to the 90s. You may be hoping for that rain cooled air to keep the numbers down a little bit in the middle part of the day. If you don't get it, your high temperatures will likely climb to about 92 degrees. Heat index values in the upper 90s today. It will be hot, it will be humid, and we are holding on to that isolated storm chance once again. There is still a stationary boundary kind of draped across the state of Missouri. I do expect a better rain chance to be in some of our eastern counties later today. We don't have a widespread severe weather threat. We don't have a widespread flash flooding threat, but isolated heavy downpours could certainly lead to some quick ponding on the roads. Places that are already saturated, we're going to be looking out for those areas very carefully, not only today, but through the weekend forecast too, as isolated storm chances remain in the forecast. Temperatures are going to gradually increase for us this weekend. We're just going to add 2-3 degrees to the forecast, but it's going to make an impact in that our temperatures will be in the mid 90s. We will also see heat index values near 105. You may notice the National Weather Service issues some heat headlines for the weekend because of that extreme heat that's going to be building in and the humidity that comes along with it. I do expect that we're going to have to find some time to take breaks in the air conditioning this weekend. If you'll be spending any time on area waterways, just keep in mind your heat safety rules. It really is going to be a warm forecast. A ridge of high pressure is also set to move into the forecast area next week. And this is a typical summertime pattern for us to get this big bubble of hot air in the upper levels of the atmosphere. That's what's going to be moving in, kind of building and taking over our weather pattern. And it means that the heat's not going away. So the numbers that you see on our weekend forecast, I think, will be quite common as we head into the forecast next week. It is going to be a warm stretch of days, that is for sure. Today, we're looking at a high temperature of 92 degrees. I have a south breeze out there today, but nothing too strong. We only fall back to about 72 tonight. Tomorrow, sunny and hot with a high temperature of 93. We will then see lows only in the mid 70s by Sunday morning, and that will allow us to warm to the mid 90s for Sunday afternoon. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, just a little preview. We will see high temperatures in the mid 90s for a stretch of days, and the rain chances, well, they're probably best today east of Highway 65. I think most of us stay dry over the weekend, and next week is looking dry as well as that ridge of high pressure builds in and takes control of our weather pattern. Around the country, we've got active thunderstorm patterns with threats of flash flooding for the Northeast, the Mid-Atlantic, and the Central Plains. There's also this slow-moving low pressure system, a tropical system bringing flooding and heavy rains to the central Gulf Coast. That will remain today. At the same time, we've got widespread heat moving in for the East Coast, the Ohio Valley, the Southeast, and the lower Mississippi Valley. And that is what's going to stick with us as we head into the early part of next week. And we will get on that heat wave here in the Ozarks. The Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather Brain Twister trivia question for the day. The question that I left you with yesterday: which significant weather-related event known for its devastating impact on the U.S. Midwest, occurred in July of 1993. And the options that I gave you were A, the Great Flood of 1993, B, the Dust Bowl, C, Hurricane Katrina, or D, the Joplin tornado. Of course, all of these big impact events, but two qualifiers here. Number one, in 1993, July, and also in the Midwest. And if you chose A, the Great Flood of 1993, you would be correct. It was a devastating and widespread flood that affected 9 Midwestern states from May through September, caused significant damage and loss of life, and it is considered the most costly and damaging flood in modern U.S. history. Record breaking river levels that extended miles and miles and miles. It impacted the Mississippi and Missouri rivers and their tributaries. So this moved through states like North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, Wisconsin, and Illinois. There was unusually persistent and heavy rainfall that year, combined with saturated ground conditions and higher river levels from a wet fall and spring. All of this contributed to the flooding, and the jet stream remained stationary over the Midwest for an extended period of time, which led to these repeated thunderstorms and excessive areas of rainfall. We're seeing a lot of rainfall, of flood warnings all across the country this year. So, of course, we don't want to see a setup like that, but it's been a pretty devastating year for heavy rainfall and floods already, not just here, but across the country. All right, here's the trivia question that I'll leave you with for Monday morning. Which of these famous landmarks is the tallest? Do you think it's A, the Eiffel Tower in Paris, France, B, the Statue of Liberty in New York City, C, Big Ben in London, or D, the Leaning Tower of Pisa in Pisa, Italy? Which one of those famous landmarks do you think is the tallest? No Googling, that takes all the fun out of our fun little game here. You can take a guess, though, at aroundtheozarks.com. Thank you so much for starting off your day here at Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather. I'm wishing everyone a fantastic weekend. And a big shout out to our sponsors, Command Family Medicine, Heating and Air Paramedics, and Taylor Grubaugh Chevrolet. Have a great one. Enjoy your weekend. Happy Friday. We'll chat again early next week.